Many of you may be receiving a stimulus payment adjustment this week, and new monthly stimulus checks are going to be sent out in the coming months. Everybody, we finally have some very important news from Congress surrounding the fourth stimulus check. So be sure to stay until the end of this video to find out the latest news surrounding your stimulus payments.
To have 4 more years of this administration means to really put Social Security in jeopardy. And there has been a lot of talk about doing it on the backs of our seniors in terms of cutting Social Security benefits. And as far as I'm concerned, never on my watch will that happen.
Now, the IRS reports it has distributed additional stimulus cash to millions of people who lost income during 2020 and qualified for more money than they had originally received. Known as plus-up payments, the money goes automatically to people whose 2020 tax returns shows they missed out when the first 2 rounds of checks, which were sent based on 2019 filings, went out. Now, more than 1 million of these payments have gone out over the past 2 weeks, totaling $2.5 billion. The IRS said it has delivered more than 8 million of these supplemental payments this year. Another 900,000 payments went out over the past 2 weeks to people whom the IRS did not previously have enough information for, but who recently filed tax returns. Many of those are very low-income people who are not normally required to file tax returns because their incomes fall below the filing threshold.
To Medicare, and if that were to be part of a global grand plan, we want assurances that that money would be poured back into Medicare, not to subsidize a tax cut for the wealthiest person in America and to say we're reducing the deficit. So it's that kind of thing. I think members can make distinctions, obviously, and but by and large, we don't want anybody to think that because we think pharmaceutical companies got off easily in the health care bill, that means that that's an opening of the door of weakening Medicare. No, it's an opening the door of strengthening Medicare.
They were encouraged to file this year to claim the stimulus money that they are eligible for. The IRS will continue to send out plus-up payments to those who recently filed tax returns on a weekly basis. More than 169 million households have received stimulus money this year to date. More than 39 million households will receive their first monthly stimulus check or family stimulus check on July 15th, just about 1 month away. Middle and lower income families can get up to $300 per child during each month through the second half of 2021. That is thanks to a temporary expansion of the child tax credit, included in a massive $1.9 trillion stimulus relief bill that President Biden signed in March. If you have kids and need extra cash to pay down debt or to cover household expenses, a little boost could be on its way. So folks, let's go over what you may have to do to get this new form of stimulus cash. Most eligible families won't have to do anything to get their money. The IRS says it will calculate your payment based on a 2020 tax return. Couples who have kids and earn less than $150,000 and individual taxpayers making up to $75,000 who have children should be all set to receive their cash. If you qualify for the checks, you should be receiving a letter shortly from the IRS. The first wave of letters went out this week to eligible households. Later, a second letter will estimate how much each family will receive per month. Eligible families will get 6 months of $250 payments for every kid ages, for every dependent ages 6 to 17, and $300 for each child under 6 years old through December. In previous years, the child tax credit was worth as much as $2,000 per child and was paid through tax refunds during the annual filing season. The more generous credit for 2021 has a value of up to $3,600 per dependent, and half of that is being paid out in advance through the monthly checks. If you haven't received a letter, but you believe you should qualify for the payments, you still have some time to update your records with the IRS. This year's delayed tax filing deadline was over a month ago, on May 17th. Now, if you haven't submitted your tax returns, you'll want to file your taxes immediately, so the IRS will see whether your income qualifies you for the payments and will have your current bank information for depositing that money. The IRS website, everybody, has a page where parents can find more information on the advanced tax credit payments, and the agency is promising an update in the coming weeks. Through that page, you'll be able to access the child tax credit update, where you can make any changes, so you will get the right amount of stimulus as quickly as possible. Given how helpful the higher credit will be for low-income and middle-class families, many lawmakers are pushing President Biden to make the expansion permanent. President Biden's stimulus package that passed in March made the bigger credit a 2021 only thing. Joe Biden's American Families Plan, which is now before Congress, would keep the expanded credit going through 2025. But Representative Richard Neal, the chairman of the powerful House Ways and Means Committee, has introduced a motion to extend the credit indefinitely. Neal said in a statement, "Now that nearly 90% of our nation's dependents will benefit from this critical lifeline, we must make this change permanent. Millions of families are counting on us." While the latest stimulus payments began hitting bank accounts in March, some of you have had to wait weeks or months for your checks, and that's because the IRS prioritized sending checks to people who had already filed their 2019 or 2020 tax returns, since the agency was able to quickly verify eligibility based on income and also determine where to mail or direct deposit the checks. So everybody, I hope you guys received your third stimulus check. As always, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, have a great day and stay safe. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. We finally have some breaking news from Congress. A group of senators have just put forward a new infrastructure plan that may be passed soon. President Biden promises to change Social Security as soon as this year. And folks, an infrastructure plan crafted by a group of Senate Democrats and Republicans would cost roughly $1 trillion, and that's a price tag that leaves the senators with work to do to win over members of both parties. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate everyone's support. This is your fourth stimulus check update and news report.
Are your people on the Senate side and on the House side ready to accept restraints on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all that stuff?
Well, let me divide those. I think on Social Security, you'll find more resistance for one reason. It's not part of the deficit. It's not part of the... If you were to increase revenues in Social Security or decrease costs, that would not go into deficit reduction. It would go somewhere else. And there were 29 Democrats, I was one of them, who signed a letter saying, do it, but do it separately and later. It's not as immediate as the crisis of Medicare and Medicaid.
Robust support for an equitable, inclusive global economic recovery were the top priorities of our nations as we got together. We know we can't achieve one without the other. That is, we have to deal with the pandemic and in order to be able to deal with economic recovery, which as we're doing in the States, but we committed that we're going to do more for the rest of the world as well. The fact is that the U.S. contribution is the foundation to work out how we're going to deal with the 100 nations that are poor and having trouble finding vaccines and having trouble dealing with reviving their economies if they were in the first place in good shape. And I committed that we would provide a half a billion beyond the 80 million we've already done, 500 million doses of Pfizer vaccine, which we contracted to pay for, in addition to money we put into the COVID